Well, I think when you have 60,000 people who have not only gathered for a concert, but have actually taken some calls to action. You know, they had to sign, they had to go to the website, they had to share video, they had to tweet, they had to sign petitions. So they had to learn about why they're here. And I think when you get that many voices and they can sort of sing in unison, I think people have to notice. You know, it's fun. My 16-year-old daughter is here, and she's very socially conscious. So for her to have an opportunity to be here and participate, you know, and understand that people who are united with one voice really do have an opportunity to bring change. And so it's inspiring for me to have her here because hopefully she'll pass that on to the next generation.
This intersection of music and activism, and the energy is all focused in the right place. There's 60,000 people on the Great Lawn in Central Park watching these incredible bands. There's all these people watching around the world. It's being live streamed to a dozen different places. And all of it is for the purpose of ending global poverty through these incredible organizations, hundreds of millions of dollars being raised. This is like my fantasy. I mean, I can't even believe it's real. I was giving an award to Urmi Basu, who runs an incredible organization called New Light in Calcutta, India, which is helping young women and preventing them from entering into the sex slave trade. And she runs schools, and she's just an incredible leader in the fight against poverty. And so I got to give her an award, and then I got to present to incredible people who run an organization called Shining Hope for Communities, which is in Kenya. And Jessica and Kennedy Odede are incredible people. This school that they run in Kibera slum in Nairobi is a girls' school. It's the most extraordinary elementary school I've ever seen. They also run an AIDS program, a computer lab, a water treatment tower, a library, a community center. I mean, it goes on and on. So all of these people are mingling with people who just love music and communities. So that's what's happening, and I'm just lucky to be here. I wish I could go to some of the debates. That would be wonderful. I will be following them. I'm really interested to see what happens when each candidate is really pressed on policy. I have made no secret about my support for Barack Obama and Joe Biden, and I'm confident that once people see the debates, there will be no question as to who really has a plan for fixing the economy, for getting us out of this slum, for creating jobs, for protecting women's rights, for protecting immigrants' rights. The list goes on and on. But even though I personally have made my choice, I always tune into the debates because that's part of democracy, and it's one of the most important parts of the process. So I encourage people to check them out.
You know, for me, a global citizen is someone who has empathy for other people who could be far away, and I think that the world is so interconnected that we can make it difficult when we are connected and careless about one another. But if we're connected with concern, there's something to that, you know. Yeah.
Philanthropy shouldn't just be something that we do part of the time. It should be embedded in our lives, and service should be part of how we think about our lives, think about our daily lives, think about what we want to do in our lives, but that it also should be fun. And that's self-evident here tonight. I mean, the mix of music and celebrating organizations like Half the Sky or World Vision or Earth Day, you know, this is what giving should be. Oh, well, tonight is just another reason to be optimistic. The fact that there are 60,000 people here learning about organizations that are making a real difference in the world, seeing people from those organizations talk about their work and talk about the success they're having, whether it be, you know, fighting polio or helping empower women and girls around the world. You know, there's a multitude of reasons to be optimistic that are just here tonight, on the stage and out in the audience. I think a global citizen is someone who is informed about what's happening in their neighborhood and in our world and cares enough about it to take action, whether that be voting, like what we were just talking about, or donating to an organization they really believe in, whether it be dollars or time, and then trying to literally be the change they want to see in the world.
Well, Global Citizen Festival really addresses a very important issue, which is extreme poverty. and there's still 1.3 billion people in extreme poverty, which is not acceptable. And when we come together in one voice with one goal, we can really end extreme poverty within our generation, and that's really powerful. And we have to take those actions. It's not a choice; it's a must.
More than ever, we're more connected than ever. What happens here when it comes to things like global warming, when it comes to things like fighting poverty, when it comes to all kinds of issues, what happens here affects people all around the world. And so with that in mind, I think it would be great for all of us to think of ourselves as global citizens. Oh yeah, I'm excited to vote. I've been out there trying to get other folks excited to vote, and every election is important as far as I'm concerned. There's no elections that aren't.
Honestly, I wish there were more of these. You know, this is the kind of stuff that I love to be a part of. It's everybody getting together, musicians and different organizations, and really focusing on things that need to be heard and things that people need to be educated on. So I like that they're doing this. I'm representing UNICEF. So basically, all these organizations are coming together to do this festival, and all the proceeds are going to charities. So I'm here representing mine, which is UNICEF. So. Basically, I've just been able to kind of witness firsthand what UNICEF has been able to do for kids all over the world. I mean, it honestly started with me doing a couple of events for UNICEF, and I ended up just falling in love with the organization and what they do. And when I started, the organization in 1990 had like something crazy, almost like 30,000 children dying a day, and now that number is at 19,000. So it's slowly getting there, and our goal is to get to zero. So.
Today we're at the Global Citizen Festival, and there's lots of different charities that are part of this event tonight. And I represent Malaria No More, which is an organization I've been involved with for a couple years. I made my first trip to Africa last spring, and it's just really exciting to be here and see this is the first year they've done this. It's such a huge turnout.
Really, it's just more being aware, and I've been fortunate enough to be able to travel to a great many places on this earth of ours, and just that, being aware of the issues that face everybody, I think, is really sort of what this is all about. And it's really, when it's something as simple as just awareness and education, that's a very easy thing to get behind. It's a very easy thing to do.
Well, I'm here first and foremost as a global citizen, and here with Pencils of Promise, which is one of my favorite charities. I'm also very excited that Half the Sky is here. As a woman and also a journalism student, I'm such a fan of what Nick Kristof and Cheryl Wooden are doing, and shedding light on what's happening to half the world's population is incredibly important. Education's always been a passion for me, and total nerd alert moment. Adam and I were at a conference together with a bunch of other mutual friends, and we just kind of geeked out on education and went, yeah! And I've been a supporter of Pencils of Promise ever since.
Pencils of Promise was started with a very simple ambition that any individual, regardless of age, status, location, could change the world and allow for a child to receive access to education. And at the end of this year, we'll break ground in our 100th school in 4 years, coming from $25. And so when Sophia and I met, it was literally at a dinner, and we just connected on the idea that every single person could make the world better, and that every single child should have access to education, and that the fact that that doesn't exist is inexcusable, and that it's up to us as global citizens to make sure that that becomes a reality.
Well, I think, the General Assembly just happened. I think the world is sort of paying attention to New York even specifically. There have been so many conversations happening, and I think it's great. I think it's such a fun, wonderful way to get the masses involved in the Millennium Development Goals. Yeah, I think being a global citizen just means being mindful of the world at large, and playing your role in it, and to make it a better place and make the changes happen that need to happen. And for me personally, I think, obviously believe that hunger is just a needless thing in this world, and it's something we know how to solve for, food and nutritious food, and I believe everyone deserves that.
In front of 60,000 people, plus all the people who are watching live all over the world. This is really amazing and huge, and the power of social media, that we can have this big